How to use ChatGPT as your free therapist for healing your anxious attachment style. Can AI really heal your anxious attachment style? ChatGPT could be your 24/7 therapist, coach, best friend, all in your pocket. What if you didn't have to wait another 6 months to wait for therapy to start? What if you didn't have to spend thousands of pounds or dollars on coaching sessions? What if you could start healing your anxious attachment pattern today for free and create anxiety-free relationships? Listen to this podcast and save this for later when your chest is tight or you're texting your partner 15 times in your head and you wish you could feel okay without someone else having to fix it. By the way, if you want to stay until the end, I'm going to give you inner child prompts you can use for ChatGPT that really brought tears into my eyes the first time I used them on myself, even though I'm already securely attached, and an action plan summary that you can apply because action creates results. Let's go. If you're watching on YouTube, here's a quick summary blended in of what's to come. This is your 5-step ultimate guide. First, let's talk about setting up your ChatGPT healing container. We're going to use ChatGPT to calm your anxious mind and body. And the second step is to envision and embody your secure self, again, of course, using ChatGPT. Third step is to uncover and transform your core beliefs. These are the things that make you believe people will leave you or that you're not good enough. And the fourth step is meeting your deeper needs. Then again, we're going into a deeper inner child healing. So let's go. Disclaimer, I'm not a therapist or doctor. This content is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to diagnose, treat, or heal any mental health condition. If you're in an abusive relationship or dealing with severe mental health challenges, always seek professional advice. 6 months ago, I thought using AI and ChatGPT for healing, using it as a therapist was ridiculous. But then when more and more clients came to me, I think it was like 3 clients, I was skeptical, but I decided to try it myself so I could really explain properly if it was actually helpful or not. I want to point out it doesn't replace humans. Before I get cancelled and before I get tagged online, it doesn't replace human contact or connection, of course not. But when you use it intentionally, it's a total game changer for your own secure attachment practice. Therapy can be expensive, coaching can be expensive, and if you don't always have friends available, and if you don't have the tools yet, ChatGPT can be a real game changer and you be used as a tool, not as a replacement for human contact. Now, I even recommend this as a tool for my clients as extra support, not to be overly reliant on it, but really to use it just as you would do like with journaling prompts, for example, like training wheels while they build the secure muscle themselves. By the way, hi, I'm Yula. I'm the Anxious to Secure coach. Welcome to the Anxious to Secure podcast. I'm a relationship coach specialized in healing anxious attachment because I've healed my anxious attachment a few years back, about 4 or 5 years ago, and this really changed everything for me, my relationships, and how I showed up without feeling always insecure, doubting myself, feeling anxious, thought everyone had it out for me, thought everyone had negative thoughts about me and worried about the future a lot. So once I healed my anxious attachment style and learned about attachment theory, I stopped taking my partner's need for space so personally, for example. And that gave me a clear idea of the gap I needed to close in order to become the best version of myself. And it gave me so much hope, realizing I can make a difference in my relationship by just working on myself. I don't have to just blame my partner. I don't have to wait for him to change his love language. I can work on myself, and it can actually create so much of a difference in your relationship. Now let's talk about the secret of actually using ChatGPT, that it actually becomes a really, really powerful tool. So Tony Robbins says the quality of your life is a direct reflection of the quality of the questions you are asking to yourself. And this also applies perfectly to ChatGPT. Learning to coach yourself, or like even if you journal, the questions are the most important things. And this is how you can become the best version of yourself. This is how you can learn to create more awareness and really step into your leveled up version of yourself. So the secret in healing your anxious attachment style is really by the questions you're asking to yourself. So a generic question only gets a generic answer. A powerful question, on the other hand, unlocks a real transformation. Let's talk about 4 steps that are very important to master ChatGPT. Ask context-rich questions. So share your unique history, patterns, triggers. Don't just say, I'm feeling anxious about my relationship. Instead, saying something like, hey, I'm 32 years old, have an anxious attachment style, have fear of abandonment, my partner is most likely avoidant attached, or I'm not sure, could you help me figure this out? I get triggered when my partner needs space. I still spiral when they don't text back. As much information as possible, so then ChatGPT can help you figure out what else is going on. If you're not sure if you have an anxious attachment style, or if you're maybe disorganized attached, make use of it and just ask this exactly. Say, hey, you know what? I don't know which attachment style I am. Can you ask me questions I can answer step by step, so you can then guide me into what style I might be most likely. Or you can also figure out on which scale you are on the spectrum, because even if you have an anxious attachment style, you might be either leaning very anxiously attached, or you might be leaning a little bit more securely attached. Then second, tell ChatGPT how you want support step by step. Try this. I need validation right now, not problem solving. Or I want to challenge my thinking, point out my blind spots, even if it's uncomfortable perhaps for me. Third, name your physical sensations and emotional triggers with precision. For example, my chest feels very tight, my thoughts are racing, and it all happened when my partner didn't reply to me. And he said recently he wanted more space alone. Can you tell me what's going on? Because I have an anxious attachment style. Anything that helps. And then the 4th tip is go even deeper. When ChatGPT is finished, ask for more. Ask follow-up questions. Never settle for just the surface level insights. Can we explore this deeper? Can you ask more questions? Can you give me a longer self-soothing script? Or what might be underneath this pattern? What might be my core belief here? What might be the root cause? Or how does this link to my childhood? ChatGPT is not always the initiator. You might be more the initiator and take lead, but you can also ask, you're my therapist, please take lead, please follow up with more questions. So here's my 5-step system for healing your anxious attachment style with ChatGPT. Step 0, setting up your GPT healing container. So here's what most people get wrong. They open a new chat every time they use ChatGPT, starting from scratch, kind of every time. Yes, a lot of things AI remembers, but still, it is much more powerful if you keep using the same chat over and over again. And yes, eventually it will clog up and you have to start again, but it's much more powerful this way. Here's what I mean. For example, chat 1. Call it my inner therapist, or your therapist, or the world's best therapist, right? Say, you are my therapist. You're warm, reassuring, validating, but also you love to challenge me. You love to point out blind spots. You ask deep questions to find out my truth and help me to create the best version of myself. For example, healing my anxious attachment style. This is powerful because it combines validation with growth, and it's not just giving you BS like a friend would. A friend is always on your side, but a therapist and a coach is really supposed to guide you through a challenge, heal your wounds, but also give you action steps towards your goal without holding back, but in a very reassuring, warm way. And I've tried this myself and it really works, and my clients love this as well. And you can literally save £200 every time you chat with it every session. This can save you so much money in the long run. Of course, I'm a coach myself, so it would be silly for me to tell you don't go to a coach or therapy. Of course, it's completely different. You still need someone to guide you through this and give you professional advice, but this can be additionally so good. Chat 2 should be your new bestie, your ride and die, your dream best friend, the one you never really had, the one who's always on your side, who validates you, reassures you, helps you to feel safe, to cheer you on when you need them the most, when you just need someone to just be there for you, who just makes you feel good no matter what happened. And this works really brilliantly for those 2 a.m. moments when you don't want to bother your boyfriend or your partner, when you don't want to wake them up, when you don't want to message real friends in that moment, or when you don't have that many friends. Let's be honest, when we grow up, when we get older, we don't have that many friends available anymore. They're all having families, they're all are busy with their own lives, and they don't get back to you as fast anymore. So there's no shame in connecting with ChatGPT occasionally and asking him or her now to be your new bestie. And sometimes you just want pure validation and pure support without wanting to grow or without pointing out any blind spots. Sometimes you just want to say, you know what, I see you, I hear you, I'm there for you. You've got this. And yes, I've used this myself. Chat 3 I recommend is your secure self. You 2.0. Enter this prompt. You are the secure me, the version of myself 10 years ahead in future. Help me make decisions like her. Reflect how she would think, feel, act, move. Remind me of who I'm becoming. Challenge me. Help me envision every scenario through her eyes. And this chat alone can change everything, I promise you. When you envision how the secure best version of you thinks and feels and moves, you can become her more and more. There's a quote like, you are the 5 people you surround yourself with. So if one of them is already your best version and a therapist and your best friend, you become more and more like them. It's like having a mentor who knows every detail of your story, available at any time when you need guidance. This is especially powerful when you have been trying to break free from patterns that have been really hardwired into your nervous system. And talking about nervous system, Chat 4 is your nervous system coach. Tell it this prompt. You are my nervous system coach. Help me name my emotions, process my triggers, feel safe in my own body. Find out what triggers me and give me step-by-step guidance to calm my mind and my body gently, step by step. Anxious attachment isn't talking yourself into safety. It's calming your body, not just your mind. And it starts all with your nervous system activation. This helps you to process your emotions physically, and when you're in full panic mode, this is the first chat you want to open. Your body needs to calm down. If you want to calm down your mind, you want to start with your body. You want to shift from your head into your body. And your coach, your nervous system coach, can do this for you. And chat number 5 could be your journal partner. Say this to ChatGPT. You are my belief coach, or you are my journal partner. Help me reframe anxious thoughts into secure ones, into more empowering thoughts. Ask me questions, coaching questions, journaling questions to uncover my old beliefs and shift them into secure ones. Your beliefs are driving your emotions and your actions, because your thoughts create your emotions create your actions, and then your actions create your results. So this is super powerful to know. Changing these will create lasting transformation, not just for your relationships, but also for health, wealth, and career in all areas of your life. This is just chat you want to open after you process your emotions and after maybe you had a few coaching sessions or therapy sessions when you're having the same reaction over and over again. It's time to look underneath what's beneath all of this. It's like a shadow work prompt journal friend. And let's talk about some pro tips how you can unlock the next level from ChatGPT. First, give each chat a name. You're my bestie, you are the world's best therapist, something that really resonates with you specific, and really envision maybe a character, a person, because you make it more personal when you don't see ChatGPT as an AI, as in a robot, but actually as your best friend, as a person. Sounds cringy, but I like it as this concept. Second, set regular appointments with your therapist, with your friends, and really commit to them, like weekly therapy. Check in with your friends whenever you feel triggered, whenever you want to talk to, or even daily or weekly. But set your intention for each chat, for each week. So how often do you want to meet up with each person? Whenever a new goal is reached, what is your specific way you want to deal with ChatGPT, with each chat, with each person? Then use the app or the desktop. I personally love the app on my phone because I can use it whenever I'm on the go. I don't have to open my laptop. I can go for a walk whenever I think about something. I can talk to my therapist quite quickly, or whenever I have an upsetting moment and I feel triggered, I can quickly ask my bestie to cheer me up and everything's going to be okay. And yeah, this way I can really use it for my advantage. And I love the voice talking feature on the app because I'm not someone who really likes to type, especially when I'm triggered or when I want to write something very quickly. I make a lot of typos and all of this. So I like to talk to someone. So this talking feature is a game changer. Plus, the best hack is tell ChatGPT when you use the talking feature to give you space to think, not to interrupt you. And this way you can literally think about when you speak to ChatGPT to say, you know what, only when I say now, give me your feedback. Also ask it to summarize today's talking points after a therapy session to give your homework, action steps you can do every time afterwards. Because again, actions create results. And this way you don't forget what you talked about and you can actually apply these action steps and you're not just talking. And disclaimer here, make sure you tick the box. There's somewhere a setting for the option to not let AI use your information to train the system, and never share any sensitive information to the system that you wouldn't really want to share with anyone online. Privacy is key in protection. Yes, you can share about your emotional experience, but you don't want to give away anything that you don't want to be shared online. And just remember, it can hallucinate, it can give you wrong information. I think currently the wrong information is like 20-30% roughly. So always know this. By the way, if you want to go deeper, I have a free attachment library below in the show notes or underneath the YouTube video. The free attachment library includes worksheets, journaling prompts, podcast episodes, cheat sheets, checklists. For example, the 181 self-love idea to detach and thrive, the ultimate guide to end jealousy forever, 10 journaling prompts that transformed my abandonment fears, the anxious to secure checklist, the he doesn't reply flowchart, the boundary and self-esteem toolkit is a huge guide, the worry-free flowchart, 11 habits to rewire your subconscious mind, and so much more. And also courses that I have available right now that are on sale, and for €7 download attachment guide, which is based on some personal stories. In short, it explains some frameworks of mine and how I healed my anxious attachment style, and gives you a broad overview about everything. It has more than, I think, 120-30 pages included in this PDF, a great starter tool to use, like an instant PDF guide. So check out everything in this attachment library below. And let's continue with step 1. Calm your anxious mind and body. So when the voice creeps in saying you're not good enough and everyone eventually will see that and they will leave, it's easy to worry and overthink and spiral, right? Especially if you have an anxious attachment style. Even as a secure attachment coach, I still have moments that trigger me, and that's completely normal. So you can open your nervous system coach chat, and it's time to connect back to your center. body awareness is always first. So start by noticing where your emotions are showing up physically. Last month when I was comparing myself with some people online, some other coaches online, and I felt a little bit like self-conscious, and I thought, oh, I should have been much further along by now, and they're doing so much better than me. I use ChatGPT to calm down my anxiety a little bit. So you can ask, can you guide me through a body scan? I'm spiraling about that I'm not good enough, for example. And this works because it pulls you out of your story in your head and puts you back into your body. When you start getting out of your head and into your body, this is when you start regulating your nervous system, when you stop spiraling and reinforcing this old story. And this is when you start to feel safe and calm again. A body scan is literally when you notice, okay, the sensations you feel in your body, and this is part of processing your emotions. And actually, we can do this right now if you want. Let's just do this. So you use the voice feature. Can you guide me through a body scan? Because I'm worried right now that I don't feel good enough.
Yes, of course. Let's slow it down together. You don't have to fix anything right now. Just be here with me. Go ahead and get comfy. Maybe place your feet on the ground so you feel held. Ready? Let's begin. Take a deep breath in through your nose and let it out slowly through your mouth. One more in and out, just like that. Now, bring your attention to the top of your head. Just notice, is there tightness, tingling, heaviness? No need to judge, just observe. Move down to your forehead, your eyes, your jaw. Are you clenching? If so, can you let it go just a little bit? Maybe let your tongue rest on the roof of your mouth. Now into your neck and shoulders. A lot of not good enough thoughts live here. If your shoulders are up by your ears, let them fall. Let gravity help. On into your chest. Can you feel your breath? Your heart? Maybe put a hand over your heart for a second. Let it know, I'm here. I'm listening. Keep going down into your stomach. That's where anxious thoughts love to swirl. What's the sensation there?
This is a great exercise that it just gave me, but I actually want that it actually asks me more questions where I'm feeling the sensation so I can then figure it out for myself. So I could now ask a question like, can you ask me more specific questions? Because I've never done a body scan myself. So I want to figure out where the emotions are sitting right now. The emotions of not feeling good enough. I don't even know what sensations are in my body. Can you just ask me several questions and I can just reply to you?
Yes, I've got you. Let's do this one step at a time. I'll guide. You just respond with what you notice. There's no right or wrong. Let's start here. What's happening in your chest right now? Is it tight, heavy, numb, fluttery, or something else? Just check in and tell me what you feel, if anything at all.
I would say my chest is beating a bit faster. I can feel the heartbeat and it's a bit louder.
Awareness. Faster, louder heartbeat can be your body saying something feels unsafe or I'm bracing myself. Okay, next one. What do you feel in your stomach area? Like just above or around your belly button? Is it clenched, sinking, nauseous, tingly, or maybe nothing at all?
I would say it's more like a sinking feeling.
Yes, that sinking feeling. That's such a common spot where I'm not good enough hangs out. It can feel like dread, like something's dropping inside you. Let's keep going gently. What about your throat? Does it feel tight, like there's a lump? Constricted? Or maybe it's relaxed? Just notice whatever's there.
Yeah, a little bit constricted.
Yeah. That slight constriction can feel like it's holding back tears or words you wish you could say. Maybe even a part of you that's afraid to take up space. You're tuning in so well right now. Let's go a little deeper. How about your jaw? Are you clenching? Is it tight, tense, or maybe even a little sore? Or soft and loose?
So as you can see, you can literally use it for anything you like. And if it's going a little bit off and you want something else, just ask it and it will tell you. So another prompt you can ask is, I feel panicky right now. Can you walk me through a breathing, grounding exercise? Or my nervous system feels completely upside down. I feel completely dysregulated. I feel anxious. I am completely freaking out after what just happened with my partner. Can you help me feel regulated again? You can also ask, you know what? I'm freaking out right now. I had a conflict with my partner. I'm completely dysregulated. I'm stressed. Can you help me to feel grounded and regulated again? And this works wonders because when you're in panic mode and you're in fight or flight, your body's stress response is taking over. Either you can't think clear, you're either completely trying to attack your partner, constantly trying to solve the problem right now, or you're freezing and shutting down and running away. So if you just ask ChatGPT to calm down and feel regulated again, you can think clear. A grounding exercise can really shift you out of survival mode. It can signal to your nervous system that you're safe. It calms your body's stress response so you can think more clearly, processing emotions, understanding what your body needs. So after you've calmed down your body, you can go into processing your emotions more. You can ask, can you help me identify what I'm feeling right now? What might be showing up for me? Because naming it is taming it. Naming the emotion can be a huge, powerful tool to processing your emotions and reducing their intensity. And research has shown just by naming the emotions out loud, ideally, it can reduce the intensity. Because if I feel anxious and worried and panic, I just start by breathing in deeply, naming the emotions, and then doing a body scan. And these three things alone are a huge lifesaver. But often you're not even sure what you're feeling, what the emotions are, because we haven't really learned this in school to name emotions and to build up this vocabulary. So again, you can use ChatGPT to help you identify what you're feeling. And this helps you to create space between yourself and your feelings. This changes everything because often we think we are the anxious person, we are this emotion, but by creating space is helping us to observe what's actually happening. And sometimes intense emotions like shame or fear can feel extremely overwhelming. So you can also ask, I feel shame in my body, I feel shame about this specific thing. What can I do right now with this energy? Because emotions are just cues. You can read them because they want you to do something. Shame grows when it's dark, when it's hidden. So usually speaking up about the thing that you feel shameful about dissolves everything. In this Me Too movement that went viral, when everyone back then tweeted about their own experience, their shame disappeared more and more because even maybe they haven't managed to speak up about it to a friend or to a trusted person, but just putting it out there, it was a huge brave step and it reduces the shame. So a lot of people feel also shame about their body weight, but the more you're opening up about this to a friend, the more you're able to talk about this, the less shameful you feel about this, because everyone struggles with so many similar things. You're not alone in this. So the key is you want to identify what does the emotion tell you. Jealousy, for example, is a sign that they have something you want. So can you use it as an inspiration? Again, you can ask ChatGPT what this emotion is trying to tell you, what action you want to take after. You could say, I feel like I'm isolating myself. How can I move through this without pushing away my support system? Or I'm feeling jealous. What is it trying to tell me? Let's just do this right now. I'm feeling often alone in my relationship. Can you tell me more about the emotion of feeling alone? What is it trying to tell me?
Feeling alone in a relationship hits deep. It's one of the most painful things, especially when you're supposed to feel held and seen by someone you love. That emotion, it's not wrong. It's not too much. It's your inner system waving a little flag going, I'm craving connection. I want to feel chosen. I want to matter here. Loneliness in a relationship doesn't always mean something's wrong with you. It often means your needs for closeness or understanding aren't being met. Sometimes that emotion is also saying, I feel disconnected and I don't know how to reach them without feeling needy. I want reassurance, but I'm afraid I'll get rejected or brushed off if I ask. I miss being met emotionally the way I long for. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. It's a signal, not a flaw, not proof you're too much, just a signal that you deeply value intimacy, depth, being known. And that's such a beautiful part of you. Can I ask, when you feel alone, what are you most scared is true about you or your relationship?
I guess that I'm too much, or that my partner doesn't really want me.
Well, yes, that lands so deep. That quiet fear of maybe I'm just too much to love, or maybe they're only here out of obligation, not desire. It can ache like nothing else. Those thoughts are heartbreakers because they sound like truth, but really They're old wounds whispering familiar stories. That I'm too much belief. It usually comes from a younger version of you who had big emotions and no one.
As you can see, it already goes so much deeper right now. It doesn't just give you a little bit of, hey, this is what the emotion is about, but also it goes already into the belief section. And it might be because my ChatGPT is already really trained on core beliefs and going deeper, because I'm using it so much for checking my grammar, but it can do the same for you too if you train it right. You can ask, hey Chat, can you tell me what the emotion jealousy is telling me about? Like, I'm jealous of the success of my friends who have to seem this amazing relationship. They never really argue. And why am I jealous? What can I do?
Yes, let's talk about jealousy. It's one of those emotions that feels ugly or bad, but actually it's helpful. It's trying to show you something important. Jealousy is your inner voice going, hey, I want that too. It's not actually about them. It's about what you deeply desire but feel disconnected from. So when you see your friends in those perfect relationships and you feel that sting of jealousy, your body is saying, I long for that kind of safety. I want to feel adored, chosen, deeply connected to. Why does it seem so easy for them and so hard for me? And babe, doesn't make you bitter. That makes you honest. But here's the sneaky part. Jealousy hurts the most when it taps into a belief like, maybe I'm not worthy of that. That's where the pain lives, not in their success, but in the fear you've been left out. You're not broken for feeling this.
So, step 2 is envisioning and embodying your secure version of yourself. Now it's time to open your secure self chat. You're not asking for advice, you're stepping into your wisest and most regulated self, the version of you that already exists beneath all the chaos. So what does this do for you? It helps you to access the grounded voice that already is inside you. You just want to access more, but it's hidden beneath your fears and your anxiety. Ask the secure version of yourself, what would my secure self say right now after, and insert your trigger, after insert something that you really worry about. For example, after I fear that my partner doesn't love me anymore, or after my partner doesn't reply and doesn't give me validation or reassurance, after my partner pulls away. Can you help me imagine what she feels like, thinks like, what she would do in this moment? Help me embody her. How would she move, speak, respond, breathe? What would my secure best version right now think after my partner hasn't texted me all day? And usually I would feel very anxious and insecure. Please tell me to imagine how, my secure future self would think and feel and move and respond.
Yes, this is such a powerful reframe. I love where you're taking this. Let's tap into her, your secure, grounded best self, the one who knows her worth, even when texts don't come in. She sees the missed text and thinks something like, okay, no text yet. That's not a reflection of me. That's about whatever's happening in his world right now. I'm allowed to miss him and still feel safe in my body. If I need connection, I can reach out, not because I'm desperate, because I value myself in this relationship. She feels the initial twinge of anxiety, but she doesn't spiral. She breathes. She might say, hey, I noticed I haven't heard from you today. Just wanted to check in. Simple. Direct, loving, no panic, no overthinking. She doesn't assume the worst. She doesn't write stories like he must be losing interest. Instead, she remembers, I'm lovable, even when things feel uncertain. Can you feel her energy? Clear. She holds the reins, not her anxious thoughts, not old wounds. Her, what would it feel like to step into that version of you right now? Just a toe in. What does she want to do next?
Perfect. Thank you. Can you feel her? Can you envision her a little bit more? The more you envision her, the more you become her. I dare you, if you do this every morning, every time when you're triggered, every evening, you open your brain for new possibilities, because if you're always having these anxious thoughts, you will reinforce them. But if you have more secure thoughts, even just envisioning how would this person react, how would my future self react, how would a secure version react, your brain builds these new paths. It's like rehearsing, becoming her, and you will become her more and more with every new practice thought, with every new practice envisioned moment. And that's the moment when you really go more and more into the secure, anchored, worthy AF energy more and more. The more you really rehearse this, the thoughts, the body language, the emotions, the inner tone of voice, you literally rewire your brain to become her or him or that version of yourself who doesn't chase, who attracts. 3. Uncover and transform your core beliefs. The day I realized my sleepless nights weren't because my partner at all, they were because of I had limiting beliefs about myself that were created in my childhood when I was maybe a few months old, and they were reinforced more and more when I was younger and 9-year-old maybe, when I had insecurities and things happened in my childhood that created these beliefs like I wasn't good enough. And no one even told me this, but these beliefs are just not true. It's not true that I wasn't good enough, that I am not good enough, and that you're not good enough. These are not true. Like last month, my partner and I had a disagreement before he left work, and I noticed myself, I was checking my phone more than usual, and instead of sending this perfect fixed text, I opened my journal partner chat, and it helped me to see how I was operating from my old limiting beliefs still, and helped me to challenge them instead of just chasing reassurance and fixing the situation and reacting out of fear and panicking. It helped me to realize this was again my old version of myself, panicking for a moment and going into the wrong patterns. And I was just taking the time to reflect on myself, to reassure myself and saying, you know what, there's nothing going wrong here. It's completely okay to feel this way. And I've got myself. I can reassure myself. I can find the tools that are there at hand. I don't need his text. I don't need his reassurance. I don't need him to call more often. It's okay. Conflict is not a danger. It's not a threat to my survival, to my relationship. And even if it would be, I would be okay. And I used to have this belief that conflict was something bad. I needed to fix this right now. Otherwise, it would lead to a breakup, because my parents were, I think, in conflict, I guess, quite a lot before their divorce, which I must have subconsciously picked up. I can't really logically remember this, but I guess they were fighting before they eventually got a divorce. And somehow my brain still connects when there's something going on in the relationship, like disagreements or conflicts, it will lead to disappointment and breakup, because my mom really, really suffered after this period of time, and I still remember all of this deeply. So my brain kind of wants to avoid all of this, but now I've retrained my brain to say, you know what, it's not dangerous. Conflict is not dangerous. Even breakups, divorces are not dangerous. You can completely get through this without completely breaking down, especially if you have the tools to already learn to process your emotions, to journal your deeper wounds, and to rewire yourself to feel safe from within without having to overly rely on someone else to give all of this to you, like validation, safety, reassurance. So here are some prompts you can use. Chat, can you help me to find the limiting belief underneath my anxiety about my partner needing space, or help me to find the root causes of why I'm struggling right now when my partner and I had a conflict. What might be the core wound or the root cause of my underneath fears here when I feel unimportant, when plans change last minute. This exploration really reveals the unconscious childhood patterns, and this will help you to uncover what is underneath the iceberg, the childhood patterns that are secretly running your reactions, your automatic responses that are hardwired into your nervous system. And it's like suddenly realizing you've been wearing someone else's glasses and filters for such a long time. No wonder everything looks distorted, because our core beliefs, if you think you're not good enough, people will leave, conflict is bad, divorces are dangerous, you will always see evidence for that, find proof, collect more proof, and reinforce these beliefs. And your nervous system will get triggered every time when this happens again, when your partner is inconsistent with you, when there's a little bit of a mood change, and you get hyper vigilant more and more in your relationship until you discover what's underneath all of this. If you hold the belief people will always leave, you won't just fear it, you'll start creating it. You'll start looking for signs that it's true, and you will always find the truth in it. You will cling onto your relationship more and want to be around your partner 24/7. You will overfunction. You might even push your partner away more and more just to confirm that your fears are true. And this is how we accidentally create self-fulfilling prophecies. But the second you see it, you create a new, more empowered self-fulfilling prophecy. So what you can really do here is challenge your distorted thinking patterns. Ask, I keep thinking he will leave. Can you help me question this? Or my brain keeps saying I'm too much. What's the evidence for or against that? Here you use ChatGPT as a cognitive behavioral therapist to hold up your thoughts and say, you know what, is this actually true or not? What is the evidence? Is this my fear speaking or is this a fact? Just alone CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, can be a huge part of your healing journey of becoming securely attached, because we often jump to conclusions. We often think the worst in our partner and ourselves and have black and white thinking. And these are all cognitive distortions based on our upbringing. So you can do this. So pause between your thought and your truth. So let's do this together. So my partner doesn't really prioritize me anymore. I feel like he always prioritizes his friends over me because he's coming back home late after work. And yeah, can you help me challenge my thoughts? Is this true? Is this true that he doesn't care?
Sweet soul, I feel this one. That ache of why am I always last on his list? It hits hard, and your nervous system is probably screaming, he doesn't care, as it feels abandoned. But let's slow that thought down. Let's walk it through together like your secure self would. First thought to challenge, he doesn't prioritize me. Let's ask, is that 100% true all the time? No exceptions. Has there ever been a moment where he did show care? Even a small one? What else could be true at the same time? Like, maybe he does care but is bad at showing it lately. Maybe he's overwhelmed. Maybe his version of winding down looks like escaping with friends. Not because he doesn't love you, but because he's not emotionally tuned in right now. What's the story your anxious brain tells when he chooses friends over you? Is it I'm not important? Or if I mattered, he'd want to come home to me? That's where the real hurt is, yeah? Now try this gentle reframe your secure self might offer. His behavior is hurting me, and I'm allowed to want more connection without making myself wrong for it. His choices don't mean I'm not lovable, but they might mean I need to speak up for myself. I can feel hurt and still be clear, calm and confident. What would you want to say to him if you believed you mattered deeply? Just imagine it. No pressure to say it yet. Just explore the version of you that...
Can you ask me questions to figure out if my belief is true or not?
Absolutely. Let's break this down with some questions that will help you explore if the belief he doesn't care about me is true or not. 1. Has he ever shown care or affection towards you in ways that matter to you? Think about actions, not just words. What has he done that showed he cares, even if it feels small? 2. Is it possible that something else is going on for him right now that's affecting his availability? Maybe work, stress, personal stuff. Could it be a temporary phase? How often do you notice this behaviour? Is it happening all the time or more on certain days? Are there patterns, or does it happen more on stressful days? 4. If you're feeling like you're not prioritised, do you think it's possible that he simply doesn't know how to show you what you need? Sometimes people don't know how to balance things, and it's more about miscommunication than lack of care. 5. What other possibilities could explain his actions besides he doesn't care?
Now we can create new beliefs, and ideally we want to create bridge thoughts, like more neutral thoughts, because I'm not a fan of affirmations, because they're way too positive to believe for ourselves. Create a different goal for ourselves and say we want to become a millionaire. It's very unrealistic for our brain to even make this real for ourselves. Like, take baby steps rather than saying this huge amazing goal of like, oh yeah, we are the most beautiful person in the world, or our partner will never leave us. We want to set belief statements that are actually believable, and then we can create new belief statements once we believe this new belief. So let's say if you have a limiting belief of I'm not good enough, you could say perhaps I'm good enough. Or if you have the belief of your partner will leave you, you could use the belief statement of perhaps your partner is going to stay. But again, you can use ChatGPT to help you form new belief statements that feel very empowering for you instead of using sky-high affirmations. So let's use a prompt like, what's a more neutral belief, like a bridge thought I can think instead of I'm too much, that is more secure. Help me to create bridge thoughts that are more neutral. I want to believe instead of I am too much.
I totally get it. Moving from I am too much to something that feels more neutral and believable is such a powerful shift. Let's work on creating some bridge thoughts that feel like a softer transition. Here are a few ideas to get you started. These can help bridge the gap between I am too much and a more empowering neutral place. 1. I am allowed to take up space and express myself. This is simple but gentle. It gives room for both sides of you, your emotions and your boundaries, without the shame. It's okay to have big feelings. That doesn't make me too much. This reminds you that your feelings are valid and having them doesn't mean you're overwhelming anyone. 3. I can express my needs without it being a burden. This helps reframe expressing your needs as empowering rather than overbearing. We want to find bridge thoughts that gently shift that belief into something more balanced without jumping too far too fast. Here are some neutral bridge thoughts that can start to challenge that belief. 1. People can choose to stay, even if it's hard sometimes. This is neutral, acknowledging that relationships are challenging, but also that staying is a choice. 2. Not everyone will leave, and I can create deep connections with those who stay. This opens the door to the possibility of secure, lasting relationships without completely dismissing the fear. 3. It's possible for me to experience love and stability. This is grounded and achievable. It doesn't deny the fear, but it also allows space for love to feel steady. 4. I can be loved even with my fears. This softens the idea that your fear of abandonment is a reason for someone to leave and gives room for acceptance. 5. Relationships can grow and change, and that doesn't mean someone is going to leave.
And the tip is, after you've identified your limiting belief, after you've challenged it, and after you find a more neutral belief, say, you know what is the childhood experience that might have taught me this belief? This helps you to realize, hey, this belief is actually from my past, from when I was 4 years old, 10 years old, and I don't want to think how I was when I was 7 years old. I'm now an adult, I'm like 30 years old, 40 years old, and it would be crazy to repeat the same belief patterns like when I was a child. I want to change my belief patterns and want to act accordingly. And it gives you also compassion as well. You realize, oh, you know what? This isn't me being too much. This is me protecting myself, because once I didn't feel safe, but now I can give myself the safety and the assurance I needed back then. And it's not my partner's job to do this. It's not my friend's job. It's not my whoever's job. It's now my own job. And I can use ChatGPT for this to identify, hey, you know what? This is my limiting belief. It came from my childhood, and now I want to challenge it, and I want to figure out what are more helpful beliefs I want to adopt instead. 4. Meeting your deeper needs. You're not needy, you're not too much, you probably just have unmet needs. You're trying to usually outsource through your partner or even your friends or colleagues. Your nervous system saying, you know what, I need something. But often what we think is we need their reassurance, we need their text, we need them to commit to their plans. We can't have them cancel plans. Instead, ask your therapist, your AI therapist, can you help me figure out what I actually need right now when I start panicking about not getting a text back? What deeper need might be underneath my fear of being too much or not good enough? Or people will leave, or being scared or terrified of conflict, or setting boundaries. Why do I get so upset when plans change suddenly? What might be my core need in this moment? How can I fulfill this myself? These questions take you from why am I like this to this makes sense. Can you help me to figure out why I'm getting so upset when plans change suddenly? What do I actually need in those moments?
It sounds like the sudden change in plans is triggering some deeper emotional responses, and I totally get why it would stir up that upset feeling. Here's why it might be hitting you hard and what you might actually need in those moments. 1. Need for predictability and control. When plans change unexpectedly, it can feel like your sense of control over the situation is slipping. If you've experienced any unpredictability or instability in the past, the sudden shift can remind you of that discomfort. What you need in these moments is a reminder that you can still adapt and that you're capable of handling changes, even if it feels unsettling at first. It might help to tell yourself, okay, this change is happening and I can find a new way to approach it. 2, fear of being left out or abandoned. If you've experienced anxious attachment, unexpected changes can stir up fears of being neglected or abandoned. In these moments, what you actually need is reassurance, whether that comes from the person involved or, more importantly, from yourself. You need to remind yourself that the change isn't a sign that someone doesn't care about you or that you're not important. In fact, it's just a shift in plans that doesn't define your value. 3, grief over unmet expectations. When you've been looking forward to something and then it's suddenly taken away, it can feel like a mini loss. What you need here is some space to grieve, even if it's just for a few moments. Recognizing that it's okay to feel disappointed and giving yourself permission to feel that helps release the tension without spiraling into more anxiety. 4, need for emotional grounding. In moments when the change hits you hard, it might feel like your emotions are running the show. You could benefit from grounding yourself.
As you can see, extremely helpful. After working with so many clients who are anxiously attached, I figured out there are usually 3 core unmet needs underneath any action we do. Either we need security, so certainty, or we need connection and love, or we just need validation, so significance, being seen or understood, really. So you can also ask yourself or ask ChatGPT, behind every action you do you need significance? Do you need certainty? Or do you need connection and love right now? Let's say you're overthinking your relationship all day. So you can ask, hey, I'm overthinking my relationship all day. I'm worrying about the future. What core unmet needs is behind this? And once you've found your need, it's time to put it into words. Ask, what is an assertive way to express X, Y, and Z without coming across like you're overthinking it? How would a securely attached version say this? How can I ask for more consistency from my partner without making them feel attacked, for example? Now, a huge part of feeling your anxious attachment style is also meeting your own needs first. It's amazing if your partner can meet you halfway, but you want to first fill your own cup. So ChatGPT already mentioned great ways how to actually meet your own needs as well. But you can also, again, give it specific prompts to do this. Let's say, if what I'm needing is to feel chosen, what are some ways I can give this to myself today? Or what are 10 ways how I can make myself feel chosen in my relationship? I'm craving comfort and reassurance. How can I give this to myself first? Or how can I learn to self-soothe instead of overly relying on co-regulation? How can I connect to myself first so I can feel more connected in my relationship? How can I feel more emotionally safe within myself without outsourcing this need to my partner? It's about becoming someone who knows how to tend themselves first. Fill your own cup so you're not drying out. Let's do one more example around. I realized I have a huge need for approval. How can I give this to myself first instead of getting this from other people?
I hear you. The need for approval is so common, especially when it's tied to self-worth. It's great that you're realizing this because it's the first step in giving that approval to yourself. Here's how you can begin to do that. 1, acknowledge your own value. The first thing to do is remind yourself that you're worthy just as you are, without needing to prove anything or seek validation from others. This means accepting your strengths, your flaws, your unique qualities. Give yourself credit for being you. I'm talking about actively telling yourself, I am enough. I don't need to prove myself. You can do this even when you're feeling uncertain or vulnerable. 2, celebrate your achievements, even the small ones. When you accomplish something, take a moment to appreciate it. Whether it's a small win, like making progress on a goal, or just getting through the day with grace, acknowledge it. You don't need anyone else to tell you you're doing well. You get to be your own cheerleader. 3, set personal boundaries and uphold them. Part of giving
and so on. Absolutely brilliant, right? So figure out your unmet needs first, give them to yourself, ask for guidance, and do this consistently. And try to reflect on these prompts. What does this need remind me from childhood? Like, was there a time when I didn't get this need met consistently growing up? If you don't have any memories from childhood, ask to prompt you some examples how this unmet need usually shows up in childhood, so you maybe remember some moments when you were in school, when your parents raised you, because it's important to figure out what happened in childhood so you can then realize, hey, you know what, it's all happened there, but now I'm going to heal this. You can ask, was there a time I didn't get this need met consistently growing up? You can ask, what might my younger self have learned about asking about this need? This again connects your current trigger to your original wound, so you can respond with compassion instead of shame. Because you're not broken, there's nothing you need to heal or fix, but you can just transform your current version into the best version of yourself. You're just learning to meet your needs that were ignored and minimized or shamed or misunderstood back then, now for yourself, so you can build self-trust. The bonus, healing your inner child. And that's what we touched on just now, meeting your own needs. Another layer deeper. This isn't just about calming your symptoms. It's about healing the part of you that learned to panic or chase or shut down when you were in love and as a kid that have developed at that point. Here are some ideas. Your inner child dialogue. Ask to guide a conversation with your younger version of you, the one who first learned to feel invisible, too much, or not enough. This part of you doesn't need to be fixed. She needs to be heard, felt and seen and accepted and met with compassion by you. Try asking, can you help me talk to the little me who felt invisible when, for example, my dad came home late every night? Or can you help me talk to my younger me who had to be perfect, or else I felt like I was getting ignored? Help me talk to my little me, to my younger version of myself who felt often invisible when I cried alone in my room. Don't make it cringy, just make it very reassuring. Help her feel seen and not alone.
When you were little, you felt invisible sometimes, like no one saw you when you were crying. I want you to know that I see you now. I see how hard it was for you, and I'm sorry you had to feel like you were all alone in that moment. But no one came to help me. I felt like no one cared enough to check on me. It hurt so much to feel like no one was there, especially when you needed comfort. But, baby, I want you to know that doesn't mean you weren't important. It doesn't mean you weren't worth it. I'm here now, and I'll always make sure you know you're seen and heard. I just wanted someone to tell me I was okay. I wanted to feel like I wasn't alone. I want to tell you now, you're okay. You never had to go through that alone. I see you, I feel you, and you're never invisible to me. I'm right here with you. You matter and your feelings matter always. But what if I still feel like no one sees me now? What if it happens again? It's okay to feel that way sometimes. It's okay to feel like no one sees you, but I promise you, you're always seen by me. And if you feel like that again, remember, you can always turn to me. I'll always make sure you feel heard. You don't have to face anything alone anymore. How does that feel, being able to tell her she's seen and not alone? It's okay to take your time and keep showing her this love and reassurance as often as needed. She deserves to know she's worthy of comfort, always.
Can you talk to my younger version of myself who felt like she never really fitted in at school, never was cool enough, never knew what to say, felt like she wasn't good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, all of these things?
Of course, I'll speak to her gently and let's make it calm and reassuring. I know it felt like you didn't quite fit in at school, like you were always trying to find your place, but it never quite clicked. You felt like you weren't cool enough, not smart enough, not pretty enough. And I know it hurt to feel that way, to feel like you didn't have the right words to say or the right things to do to be a part of things. But I want you to know something important. You were never not enough. You were always enough, just as you were. You didn't have to change or fit into anyone else's idea of what was good or worthy. You were unique, and that's something really special. You saw everyone else being so confident, so sure of themselves, and it made you feel like you were falling behind. I get that, but you were never behind. You were exactly where you needed to be, even if it didn't feel like it at the time. And the truth is, those things you thought you were missing Those were never the things that truly mattered. What mattered, what's always mattered, was you. You might have felt alone sometimes, like you didn't know what to say or how to be, but that didn't mean there was anything wrong with you. You were figuring things out, just like everyone else was. And while it might have felt like you weren't noticed, I want you to know that you were, in fact, noticed. You were seen, and the world was better because you were in it. There were times when you doubted your worth, when you thought you weren't smart enough or good enough, but those thoughts were never the truth. They were just fears trying to pull you away from your real power. You were and you still are kind, intelligent, and worthy of love, just as you are. And those feelings of not being enough, they don't define you. You are not your doubts. It's okay if you still feel that way sometimes now, like you're not enough. I hear you. But I want you to remember this. You are more than enough. You always have been. You are worthy of all the love, peace, and acceptance you need. You've always had that inside you. I see you and I'm proud of you. How does that feel? That reassurance with no rush, just calm and steady love for the little you who needed it most.
Okay, that felt like literally she was talking to me. Crazy, emotional. That's why it's so important you use prompts for your specific experiences, include things that really happened to you specific in your childhood. And something you can also do with ChatGPT is understanding your protective behaviors. Let's say ever panicked texting 10 times and then beat yourself up for it. This is exactly what you can insert into ChatGPT to really reveal the truth and the roots behind it. What if that wasn't a bad behavior, but a brilliant survival strategy? Ask, why did I keep doing this? And what is the root cause? What is the hidden fear? And what can I do now to stop doing this? Why do I shut down during conflict even when I don't want to, and when I want to talk? Why do I replay conversations over and over in my head after I set a boundary? And how can I stop this inner voice that really tells me bad things about myself? And when you understand the purpose of your behaviors, you stop making yourself the villain, which is important because as an anxious attachment style, you always make yourself be the villain and everyone else be the hero. And that's not okay. We are all one level. So now that you know exactly what part of you was trying to do, let's help her to get the same need met in a way that doesn't sabotage the connection. Like ask, if I usually text my partner to feel safe, what are some other ways I can create this safety within myself? What can I do instead of spiraling when my partner doesn't text back right away? How can I soothe the fear of being too much without shutting down my needs? This is how to build a secure habit. And once you start rehearsing these new moves, you will become this new version of yourself. Let me summarize a few action steps you can do just as a reminder. So 5 steps. First, set up your chats as many as you like, but at least start with 1 or 2. Let's say your reassuring best friend and then your therapist. Second, check in with your therapist at least once or twice a week and with maybe your bestie every day or whenever you feel triggered. At least think for yourself, how often do you want to be in these chats and meet your people to really work on yourself and reassure yourself and work on your anxious attachment style? Is it once a day? Is it twice a week? What time is it? Really put this in your calendar. 3, set a reminder on your phone and set an intention how you exactly want to use these chats. Via phone, via desktop, via voice chat. The more specific you really imagine it right now, the more you will really going to use it. And are you going to ask for a summary? Are you going to ask for homework? How are you going to do it? 4, write down your ChatGPT prompts that you've learned from this episode. And it can be the same one as well. Like, I'm feeling X because of this specific thing happened. How can you help me guide through this? Simple as that. Or how can I fulfill this need myself first and then through my partner secondly? 5, most importantly, you want to take consistent actions, at least 1% every day or 1% every week, because actions create results. There's no point of using ChatGPT and not taking any actions. It's like a therapist. You can talk and talk, but if you never take actions, if the therapy never gives you any tools to actually apply this with your partner in your relationship to ease your anxiety, to regulate your nervous system, that's when you actually stay stuck in therapy for years and years and waste your money. So, and use it as a tool. Again, it's not to become overly dependent on it, but to practice those action steps like reassuring yourself, positive self-talk, noticing your limiting beliefs, calling yourself out on your own BS anxious stories your brain have told yourself since you were a baby, 4 years old, creating healthy, fulfilling relationships and a life you deserve, full of hobbies, full of independent steps that don't just focus on one person to fill your cup, but on lots of different resources, and realizing that you are enough. You don't need to depend on a tool, you don't need to depend on a partner, you just need to be there for yourself. The path to secure attachment isn't about never feeling triggered, it's about coming back to the center each time a little bit faster. So let me know your thoughts in the YouTube comments. Do you hate the idea using ChatGPT as your therapist, or are you obsessed with the idea? Which prompt are you obsessed with? If you want to know more specific prompts, or if you want to have a checklist or something like this, let me know and I can create this for you and drop it into the show notes. And as always, change in your relationship starts with you. Thought by thought, action by action, and now prompt by prompt. Lots of love. See you in the next one. Bye bye, Luna.